nothing to it. Go ahead and bring Goliath on. Ain't no giant, I ain't gon' fire on. Catch a fade, you, I'm warm, I'm gone. Y'all can catch the wave that I am on. I am icon, y'all are wide wrong. Think that I'm gonna reconcile bonds. Here ain't nothing to it though. This is on me, ain't got much to do with who you know. Keeping it true to from 10 L's into a milli though. But they already knew that those farewell to your opinions. Know that he is something. This is all me, ain't got much to do with who you know. Yeah, keeping it true to form, but they already knew that, y'all. Here we go.
Welcome to downtown Mansfield, Ohio, here inside of the Tridico building for our weeknight edition of the Saturday Pigskin. I am Brian Skowronski. The show is brought to you by Scout Construction LLC, and the boys are with me again, Erik, Will, and Effie James, where we do have a lot of crazy scenarios in terms of the playoff picture and in terms of conference races. We'll get into all that here in a minute. First, let's run back all the highlights that we have from Friday night under the lights right now on the Run Back. Kick things off at Community Stadium with Ashland hosting West Holmes Arrow, still in the thick of the OCC title chase, and this guy helped keep that dream alive. Senior QB Mitchell Howland gets in for the score. Night Saints are right back though. Noah Clark on the QB keeper. He threw for over 400 yards in this game too. Awesome game by the sophomore, but Howland was even better. Hooking up with Parker Henkel, who had a big night. Beautiful grab there. He had 11 of those for $137. Howland threw for 3 scores, ran in for another 2. Here's Chase Dillow taking it in from 22 yards out. Wrap it up with Cade McQuaid for a 19-yard touchdown, 49-24 Arrows. Somehow, some way, control their own destiny in the OCC. Head over to the Colt Corral, final home game in the Valley. Clear Fork hosting Harding. Big one for the Colts playoff hopes. And what a night for QB Brennan South. Hits Tacoma Orr here in the back of the end zone. He had a couple of TDs. Now off the play action South to Elijah Hughes. Get off me, little fella. He's going to go in for 6. Colts defense made some big plays in this one too. Colin Kreider and Dylan Belcher each had INTs as Clear Fork led 49-14 at the half. Coach Dave Carroll was going to research that to see if that's a program record for points in 2 quarters. Presidents had a couple of scores off special teams. Caden Thags with a lone offensive TD for Harding. 48-yard scamper there, but South with 8 total touchdowns in the game as Clear Fork wins big, 55-20. On to this stadium we go. Final home game for Ontario hosting Pleasant, and just a horrible start for the Warriors. 2 plays in, going backwards, and it's a Spartan safety. Austin Schaefer had an impressive outing, 117 on the ground for him. He gets in for a touchdown. Patrick Bluebaugh went for over 2 bills. He's in for 6 here. Then Schaefer tasting pay dirt again. It's 23-0 at this point. One of the few bright spots for the Big O came in a small package though. The Water Bug, Owen Hatfield breaking off a 93-yard house call. We hear you out there too, Ozone. Showing the fan support despite the lopsided score as Ontario gets in the scorebook. Here's Bluebaugh again though. He found the end zone a grand total of 5 times. Getting in again, Ontario never quit though. Brock Hill diving across the goal line, but it was just too much Bluebaugh and company as it's over 500 Spartans yards, and they win it 50-21. Still could get a share of the MOAC crown. Mansfield Senior at Mount Vernon last night. Tigers looking to bounce back after a stunning loss at Worcester last week in the closing seconds, and they didn't waste no time getting the good vibes flowing in this one. Opening kickoff of the game, folks, Cyrus Ellerby gets ghost like he stole something. Speedboating his way down the far sideline, 68 yards to the zone. It's 7-0 just 11 seconds in. Now, first offensive play for the Tigers, Angelo Gross off the jet sweep, and you can already tell, ain't nobody gonna catch him. 93-yard house call here. So it's 2 touches, 2 Tigers TDs if you're keeping score at home. Wyatt Gregory, he was a workhorse, carried it 41 times, had 240 yards, 2 scores for the Jackets. He's one of the leading rushers in the entire state, but just too much Tigers. Amajiad Robinson up over the pile. He got into the end zone twice. 34-14 senior high improves to 8-1. Should get a home game in week 11. So should the Lucas Cubs, who finish up at Labrae, where the Cubs seeking their 6th straight win. Junior standout Ethan Sauter was awesome in this game. Let's show you how. 200 yards and a couple of scores for him on the ground. This one down the far sideline made it 7-0 in favor of Lucas. Later on, Logan Niswander gonna make it 14-7, breaking the plane from 1 yard out. And the Cubs defense has been phenomenal all year. Here they are taking points away from the opponent. That's gonna be a touchback, setting up Niswander back with the football, and he's gonna scamper 59 yards all the way into the end zone. He had no passing yards in this game, but they didn't need any. 28-14 Cubs win. They're 8-1, sitting atop their region. Let's take a look at the Friday Night Phenoms presented by Baker's Collision. Let's jump right in with Brennan South, the Clear Fork Senior quarterback / defensive back. 21-31, 282 yards, 5 touchdowns through the air. But oh, by the way, gentlemen, how about 3 more touchdowns on the ground to go with 67 yards? I really don't remember seeing a guy having 8 total touchdowns in a game. That's a lot.
Yeah, I would say he might have had the most complete game in Week 9. You know, there were a lot of games maybe that weren't as interesting as what we've seen in previous weeks or even leading up to Week 10, what we're going to see next week. But, man, for him to ball out like that, he needs that confidence going into a huge game next week.
Yeah, Clear Fork came up with a big win as they smacked Harding 55-20, had 49 points in the first half of this game. Angelo Gross, a Mansfield Senior, does everything for them. He had 5 grabs for 193 yards and a touchdown. That's 38.6 yards per catch. So pretty much every time Mr. Gross touched the ball, something big was happening.
Becoming more and more, if you can, a force for these Tigers. He affects every single aspect of the game. You can't really kick it to him in the special teams game. You can't find him. They do a great job of hiding him offensively. You don't know where he's going to get the football. He's just an outstanding athlete, and he's really doing a great job of leading this team, not only on the field, but off the field as well.
And I think he's deceptively fast. When you look at some of these plays, I think kids feel like they have the angle, and they normally don't. Tigers beat Mount Vernon 34-14. Mitchell Howman, back-to-back weeks on the list now. Ashland Senior quarterback balling out again, throwing it 43 times. 25 completions, 312 yards through the air, and 3 touchdowns. And again, had 2 more rushing touchdowns. So Ashland remains in the OCC chase, and Mitch, a big reason why.
Yeah, and I like him because, like you said, the 2 rushing touchdowns, that running presence is huge. And when Ashland's Ashland, they always have a quarterback that's throwing the ball. But, man, it's great when you have that running game as well. And I think he will be the difference next week when they play Worcester, because I think that with him touching the ball every play, being essentially their best player, he gives them the best chance to win. So I'm excited to even see what rabbit he pulls out of his hat next week.
Yeah, he's an incredible athlete. He helped the Arrows beat West Holmes 49-24. Patrick Blubaugh, Marion Pleasant, had 33 carries against Ontario, 203 rush yards, but he found the end zone 5 times. Fellas, that's a pretty good season for a lot of kids. 5 in this one game. Also balled out on defense as well, had an interception for them. So Spartans beat Ontario 50-21. He was a big reason why. You know,
going 2 ways and having a guy that can affect the game on both sides of the football is really important, and it's necessary for a lot of schools. But to have that much offensive efficiency and have that many touchdowns and then turn around and play such a huge game on defense is a huge accomplishment for it, no matter who you're playing. So that's really huge for him, and to see his team in a place where they could fight for league titles or playoff chances and all of that, that makes it even better because you got a guy you can count on, you know is going to be offensively efficient, but also can turn around and give it to you on the defensive side.
Spartans roll the Warriors by 29 on the road. Final nominee, Ethan Sauter, the Lucas Jr. running back / linebacker, 200 yards and a couple of scores on the road at Labrae. He's just an explosive athlete, and these Cubs players, like you talk about a lot, Erik, they're in the game pretty much every single down. So to see the impact that Ethan has all over the field, like it's pretty impressive every week.
Yeah, I mean, Ethan's a complete player, and I feel like we have a Lucas player every single week on this list because they're that good. And Ethan's been on here several times, so you know he's obviously probably going to be an All-Ohio type player every single week. What I love is the consistency of which he plays, and he's a leader by example, and that allows his words to be more impactful as well. Just excited to see what he's going to do here as we move forward into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think we've had like 4 different Lucas players wind up on this list. Cubs beat Labrae 28-14. Sauter falling out on the road. So that is your top individual performances of the week. Now let's take a look at the top 5 plays as presented by North Central State College. Our first nominee takes us out to the Clear Fork Valley. Brennan South airs it out to Jackson Meyer, who beats what looks like perfect coverage on the play for a 39-yard Clear Fork score. Take another look at the precision here, folks. No room for error whatsoever, so the Colts execute flawlessly in a blowout win over Harding. Nominee number 2 coming your way, it's Mitchell Howman. Just a bit off target with the pass, but Parker Henkel makes the unbelievable diving grab. And the officials all over this thing too, so you know it's legit. Even better in slow-mo too. Take a look, kids. Amazing concentration and freaky fingers all add up to a 29-yard Ashland score. The first of 2 93-yard touchdown plays coming your way at nominee 3, where Mansfield's Angelo Gross off the jet sweep looks like a human jet. No one from Mount Vernon's team is even close to catching the future Michigan State Spartan. This was the first offensive snap for the Tigers too, setting the tone in an OCC road victory. Our other 93-yard score is courtesy of the small but mighty Warrior, aka the Water Bug. Bursting through an arm tackle, then showing off the turbo boosters. Hitting the clutch and throwing the cleats into high gear, like he's late for an important date or something. Probably gonna get a couple offers too, after dusting a crew of Spartans on his way to the end zone. Let's go back to the Colt Corral for our final play. South with the toss, Tacoma Orr with the soul snatching, plus a 20-yard tip into the zone. Clear Fork scored 49 first half points in this game, all set up by this opening touchdown reception. Just a nasty play here with a great grab and a man's move to finish off the score. So there's all the nominees for the Phenoms in the top 5 plays. Make sure that you're making your voice heard. You can vote on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and check out all the highlights on OH.report. Find us on Facebook as well. All right, boys, week 9, like I said, it was just kind of like a business week. You know, there was really only one big game, and that was Shelby going on the road and winning to stay in the MOAC title hunt. Looking forward, though, to week 10 now. So many fun matchups. Erik, what would you say you're most looking forward to coming up in the final regular season week?
Man, just this conference championships race. I mean, a lot of times we're spending time talking about playoffs, but because essentially every league has an important game. I believe all 5 of the primary leagues that we cover, from Firelands to the OCC, I mean, this is conference championship week, and there's so many different ways that things can shake out. I think that if you're a fan of football, you've got to find a game this week and go and check it out. I mean, you've got your pick of what game and what stadium that you can pick locally, and you're not going to swing and miss. I mean, it sets up for great football week 10.
You know, week 10, I'm excited, and as a coach, I'm excited for Sean Cedar. Here's a guy who comes in as a first-year head coach. He comes in, he's got a tremendously tough schedule. He goes 0-4 to start the year, and now here he is essentially playing for a league championship. And that says a lot about him, his staff, his players, and so in this game, Ashland against Worcester is going to be a competitive game. You know, I think Ashland got some things they can do. They're going to be able to do well against Worcester. Worcester's got some physicality that they're going to bring to the table. But if I'm Cedar, I got to be thinking to myself, wow, you know, the way he has grown this team and they have improved each week and kept them going when they could have just dropped their head and said, you know, threw in the towel after being 0-4. Kudos to him and his staff. They've done a great job.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up Sean Cedar, because I'm actually going to start things off this week with the crystal ball and the bold call, because, you know, when you look back at the old black and white footage, you know, from a few weeks ago, and we're like, man, poor Ashland, you know, this terrible start that they're off to. But I got news for you, Arrows fans. Y'all are going to go out and you're going to get you a piece of the OCC championship. I feel like Sean Cedar and company, led by Mitchell Howman, at home at Community Stadium, they're going to beat Worcester, and they're going to beat them pretty good, actually by a couple of scores is what I'm predicting. So I got the Arrows Arrows in a big win from 0-4 to the top of the conference. What do you got from me, Erik? Will?
I do like Ashland to beat Worcester in that matchup. I do think that Pleasant's going to go up and get that win. The big thing that I don't know yet, I think the true 50-50, I'm telling you, is that Clear Fork Shelby game. I think that can go either way. Right now, I probably actually would lean a tinge to the Clear Fork side, just because I think that they're probably a little bit healthier. I think that they're probably playing with a little bit more momentum, and I think that up front they're going to be very, very difficult to stop.
Was there a prediction there? I just feel like there was a whole lot on the side of the game on that.
Yeah,
with me, Erik.
I know it. I'm predicting four teams to win the league. That's what I'm going to predict. I'm predicting 4 teams win a piece of the MOAC tie.
I'll take it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from the Clear Fork and Shelby game. I'm going to stay away from the Ashland and Worcester game. I'm going to go to Lex, and Lex has Black River?
River Valley.
River Valley, I'm sorry, this week. And looking at those teams, I think, Lex has a great chance to get their running back, and I think they are going to pull that win. It'll be a mild upset for them in their, in the last game of the season, but I think Lex has got a lot of pride, and I think they're going to come to play. So my bold call is Lex getting that win in their final home game.
How about that? A TY Tiger giving Lexington the nod in week 10. And Effie, we just want to give you a big thank you for coming on for 9 weeks. He's not going to be available next week. It's his anniversary, so congratulations for keeping the marriage together, even though you show up on Saturday mornings all the time, spending time with us instead of with the wife and the family. So thanks a lot, Effie. We do appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, sir.
All right, for Effie and Erik, I'm Brian. Week 9 in the books. Huge week 10 coming up. You know you're going to want to watch the Pigskin next week. We'll see you then.